Did you know that Google personalizes many searches by city and Also Asked is the only tool to access live People Also Asked data at city level? Try for free at alsoasked.com.
Tired of SEO guesswork? Quadra's AI agent goes deeper to uncover high-impact optimizations and completes hours of SEO in minutes. Get started now.
I was going to say that SEO with Fat Joe is as peaceful as this, but then the birds are all having fights.
I can't really believe I still left the wrestling thing there. Trust me, I'm not fighting anyone today. Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Folashade Uba. I'm an SEO analyst and I work at Maersk. This is my second time of speaking at Brighton, so I'm so excited. All right, so this time, what am I speaking about? From reactive to predictive, using machine learning to anticipate customer search behavior. But guess what? With this talk, you don't have to know how to use machine learning to implement most of these things I'm showing you here. I want you to be able to go back next week and do some of these things real time, easy breezy. Let's get started. All right, so a brief background about myself. In the past, I worked in e-com, and it was a shoe business. Something happened that really got me thinking about anticipating customer search behavior. And what happened was that there was a time a popular shoe brand released a limited edition of shoe. And obviously, as soon as it came out, we released content around it, put blogs around it. And yes, it went out. But as you can imagine, before it got indexed, before we had to catch up on stuff, that search demand had gone down. But I noticed that on our competitors' pages, they were actually sold out within a couple of days on their website as well. Then it got me thinking, okay, so why are we not sold out at that time? And I looked at it and noticed that they had created content around this shoe, around this limited edition a month ago. They had brought out helpful topics telling you how to clean shoes around this shoe brand, the best socks to wear with it, and so on. And it got me thinking about it. How can I actually anticipate customers' behavior even before it happens? Because the truth is that we can call it brand awareness. Yeah, but think about creating those helpful contents before it even happens, before I as a customer think about it, right? All right. I know that this might sound like a sci-fi movie, which a lot of us must have watched, Matrix or Early Edition for some people, where you can actually see what's going to happen in future and start working towards it. But as SEOs, that's what we should try to do. That's what we should try to anticipate. We should think about what they're going to search for in future, and we should work on it. We should work on the outcome that we want to get, right? All right, I saw this quote, and it was just the best one to keep it here. And yeah, shout out to Dan, my colleague. He referred me to this as well. The best way to predict the future is actually to invent it. And in this case, by Ellen Key. And in this case, what are we trying to do? We're trying to invent the future that we want. We want to predict the outcome that we want. And what can you do to predict that? Obviously, it's by working on it even before people think about it, right? It just doesn't come that way. You have to work on it. You have to anticipate people are going to search for it. You have to do the work before then, not when you expect the result. All right. By show of hands, if that's okay, how many of us have actually looked at our Search Console data and wondered, oh, what if I knew about this trend before it happened? Yes, you have this product on the website, but what if I had known that customers are really going to search for topics around this? Okay, I can see a few hands, but not really. As SEOs, that's what we're trying to do. We want to be able to anticipate that they're going to search for those things before we even see it on on Search Console, right? We want to be able to do something about it before then. All right. I think I should also mention this. As SEOs, being reactive is okay. We see this is happening, then we do that, then we work towards it. But what we are trying to do is actually to be more proactive than being reactive. We want to actually engage more. We want to think about it even before our customers think about it, right? We want to do something around it. And obviously for us as SEOs, we want to be able to grow our search channels. And I should say that there's nothing wrong with being reactive. There's nothing wrong with actually doing something about it when you know, right? But what can you do without just being reactive? You can be more proactive, right? And by being reactive, we're missing out on opportunities. Think about what I had said, the story I had told you. If we knew that people were going to search for it this way, what were we going to do about that? We're going to create loads of content before then, right? Because we have anticipated that that is going to happen. So we want to stop missing out on opportunities, and we want to start to increase our clicks and conversions, right? All right, and by doing this, we're obviously going to use the predictive insight. For the predictive insights, we're using this so that we can anticipate the changes that could happen, we can plan strategically, and we can increase traffic and conversion, because that's the main thing for us as SEOs. We want to eventually increase those clicks and conversions. All right, with this predictive insights, and I'm going to show us how we're going to do this. We're going to run through a sample DF, and we would see how we're able to do that. With this predictive insights, we're able to build a robust content calendar, we're able to develop a strong and targeted strategy, and we're able to drive tangible outcomes. All right, I just wanted to say a brief story before I continue with this. So I've got a 6-year-old daughter, and I'm not a bad mother, but something happened that I remembered while I was doing this deck. And a couple of months ago, there was a World Book Day, and the truth is that I'm not a bad mother, but it just wasn't on my head. And later, at that time, obviously before then, I'd been seeing a lot of ads on TikTok about the best clothes they can wear, outfits, books, shoes. But seriously, I still didn't think about it that way. A couple of days before then, I got an email from a school saying that, oh, they should come in dressed in their best costumes, they should bring in their best books. Then it started to make sense to me that, oh, I've been seeing this. This is probably why. And interestingly, I was seeing it on one particular page. And what did I do? I obviously went back to the website to purchase, right? Because this person had anticipated that I am going to search for this at this time. You could say that, oh, that's seasonality, that's fine. But there are some minute times that you just will not think about. We want to start to think about these things before our customers put it in as queries. All right, so I said, what is reactive SEO and what is proactive SEO, which is part of our predictive analysis? And I said, yeah, reactive SEO is when we are chasing existing trends, competitors' actions, and past performances, instead of actually anticipating that these things could happen. Proactive SEO, I said, is actually anticipating that there's going to be algorithm changes, there's going to be market trends, there's going to be changing users' behavior. So what do we do about it instead of just reacting to it after it has happened? All right, as SEOs, I want us to start to rethink our data. We've got this data. Data is gold. We need to start to rethink how we use our data to anticipate changes that could happen, to shape the future that we want, and to act accordingly. Act immediately, start to implement. But we're going to see that in a few slides. All right, so what are we trying to do? We're trying to identify opportunities that create real-time solutions to meet customers' needs and outpace our competitors. It is important for us to think about it this way. We're looking out for opportunities with our data to be able to help our customers. And on the long run, yes, it gives us that revenue, right? All right, so I put some differences here. What is reactive and proactive SEO? So I said reactive SEO is responding to trends after they are peaked. Proactive SEO is creating content before before the demand peaks. Reactive SEO is when we are optimizing based on historical data, which is fine, but we're going to see a better way to do this. Proactive SEO is anticipating shifts in users' behavior. I said reactive SEO is catching up with competitors like I was doing. Proactive SEO is actually gaining that competitive edge because you already have the data, right? Reactive SEO is missing out on early signals of emerging trends, but proactive SEO is identifying and then capitalizing on these emerging trends that you know is going to happen, and you're going to do that early enough. All right, so why should we as SEOs think about investing in predictive analysis? And in fact, it's applicable to almost every other business, really. It would increase user satisfaction because you're giving them what they want, right? Then you would have a more proactive strategy. better data-driven decision making. It would enhance your content relevance, and we're going to see that in a few slides. It would give you a better competitive advantage, and lastly, it's going to give you a higher content ROI. All right, so here's the fun part. How do we do this, and what do we do? First things, this, like I said, there's almost no machine learning in this because I want you to be able to take something back and implement it. All right, so first off, we have our data sources. These are data sources. We already have the analytics search console, but you'd see that in a few slides. It's an easy process, really. And what are we trying to do? The real payoff is when you spot that opportunity that you could take advantage of. All right, so as it is with any analysis at all, you need to know what you're trying to get at. Because I'm sure a lot of people that have done analysis with big data, like there's a lot of distracting things there. So you need to know what you want to get at. All right, first off, I want to spot trends before the peak. I want to measure growth potential in key topics. I want to prioritize resources by future value. And I want to build a robust data-driven calendar. All right, well, for us as SEOs, we know what's happening now with the 0 clicks. So I would say personally, focus on transactional clusters or keywords and your category pages or product pages. It depends on what you want. But basically, you're trying to look for those places that would make more impact when you implement this kind, where you would make more impact when you implement this kind of thing. All right, so like I said, our existing data is gold. Don't discard them. First, we're going to use our Google Search Console to understand current performance. We're going to use our analytics data to understand users' behavior. And we're going to use market data to understand market direction. When I say market data here, you can use any tool that you want. In this case, I think I used Ahrefs to do this analysis. But basically, you can use any tool that has this matrix I'm going to show you in future. All right, so we're going to do a mixture of data integration for your site data and your market data. You're going to combine that, right, to make a lot of sense. So, like I said, your existing data is gold. Just use it to be more proactive. Our sites data we're using to optimize based on our current performances. Our market data, we're using that to identify opportunities, gaps, and shifts that we might be missing out on. All right, like I said, this is a sample data frame. I've got 326 rows here, 9 columns, and some of the metrics that we're going to use are there. First things, I want to identify high potential topics. And if you can see this clearly, I really want to, you can see the columns I've got there, the cluster volume, the traffic potential, the global growth based on the previous 12 months, and the growth focus based on the next 12 months. All right, I've seen this here. I can also identify low priority keywords, which, yeah, you might be able to use something, you might be able to do something with it, but just let's keep talking, then would see that. All right, so I picked on one of the topics, looked at the search volumes, looked at the traffic potential that I could get, right? And yes, I got this. This is quite simple because I already gave you the, because you could already see the table with most of this matrix. We've got the growth forecast, we've got the traffic potential. Obviously, I did this on a programming language, so yeah, but you can do a Gantt chart, you just see where it falls. You've got your dates, remember? You've got when, yeah, and this spits out where it's going to trend. So you can see that some of these things will trend in Q1, some will trend in Q2, Q3, and Q4. What can you do with this, right? So you can anticipate, you can see, okay, maybe walking shoe for Paris is going to do well in October. That's in Q4. What can I do around this? One thing I should make sure, I should mention is that you don't start working on it then. You start working on it. You start working on it a month or 2 months before then to get the results that you want. Now you know when they're going to boom. Now you know when they're going to be trends based on those traffic potential and forecast. All right, and this Gantt chart, you can just do it on Excel or any other one, really. And it depends on the charts that you want. You just need to see, oh, when is it going to trend, and what am I going to do about it? All right, I think this is the interesting image for me. Here, you can start to identify the opportunities. And what you can do here is, I've got my average position down there based on the topics, right? And, okay, right now, you see some of them, they're on 0 to 10, which they're doing well, but based on the forecast growth, the growth forecast for the next 12 months, you can see that some of them are actually going to go down, right? What are you going to do about that? You've got some from 10 to 25. You can see based on the growth forecast, some of them they're not going to do well in the next 12 months. As it is with any forecast, it just gives you the hint of what to do, right? It might not be 100% right, but it gives you that direction of which you can go. All right, so I can say, okay, so this is low priority keywords. I can deprioritize some of them in the next 12 months, right? But look at those ones up there. You can see that some of them are doing well, position 0 to 10, right? And they're even going to do better in the next 12 months, right? Then I can start to think about it. Okay, I'm already prioritizing these ones. What can I do better, right, in the next 12 months? But this opportunity area is the gold for me because they are not doing well right now. They're in position 10 to 25. But if you just let it go and not have a look at what they can do in the next 12 months, you might be losing out on opportunities. And that's what we're trying to avoid, right? So think about it. What are you going to do better with this topics that you think are not doing well now? And yeah, I think I have something that we're going to do about that, really. I think that, well, I'm going to talk about that, but some actionable steps you can think about. You can even test it with 2 to 3 topics that you have that are not doing so well now, but it shows that in the next 12 months, they're going to do well. So think about that, and we'll talk about what we'll do. Yeah. For my machine learning friends, this is obviously possible. You can use the feature engineering to mix your data in predictive analysis and a whole lot of things that you can do with predictive analysis, really. We can cover that in 20 minutes. But yeah, for your forecasting, you can think of using Prophet, you can think of using the remap, but like I said, I just used Ahrefs so that we can all implement it when we leave here. All right, another thing I want to do is to predict my users' behavior. I want to use my bounce rates and time on page to predict how they engage on my page. And here I categorized them. Not too clear here, but yeah, I categorized them. You see that some of them, based on this topic, some of them within the last month, within the last year, they've actually been really low based on the matrix that we have. What can we do about that about their engagement level? Some of them, they've been high and very high. We can start to think about, okay, so for those topics that we don't have as much engagement, can we use carousels? Can we give them more tips, right? Can we do something around it? For those with the very high ones, then you can know, okay, people are actually interested in this, then create more detailed content. All right, I broke that down into keywords as well. All right, so we are moving from insights to actions. And what do we do about that? Yes, we've got our strategy, our content strategy now. We need to think about how we can optimize this. We've got the high priority keywords, we've got the low priority keywords. For the high priority keywords, you know when they are going to trend, right? So start to work on creating those contents before then, right? Think about what you can do, how I can give helpful content before it comes out, so that when it comes out, when people are when the trend is out, you're already there. People already think about you as an authority even before then. So it's easy for them to come back to you. All right, yeah, so you can also look at your keywords, look at the traffic potential around your keywords, and start to think about where you can use them in your meta description. Think about how you can use them strategically in your content planning. All right, you can also improve your resources allocation. Where do I want to spend my time? Do I want to deprioritize some keywords, some topics? Do I want to focus on some topics, right? So you start to think about it that way. It gives you that leverage and that opportunity to be able to focus on where it's more impactful. All right, like I said, you have the competitive edge now. Some of your competitors are not thinking about it like this. Some of them bring out the content when it's trending. But you already anticipated these things, and you have done something differently, right? So it gives you that edge over your competitors. All right, this data that you have, the insights and the data that you have, it's not for only you. Let's share it with other marketing teams, right? Social media can use this, PPC can use this, your marketing team in general can use this. So let's think about how we can collaborate more on some of this, our insights, to get better results. Yeah, finally, we've got the users' engagement and conversion. And here, basically, we all want that conversion. That's like our end goal, right? So we're going to make the website better for our users to use, give them the best content at the right time, and get them to convert. All right, there are so many companies that use predictive analysis now. Netflix does that, Pinterest does that, and I found this example here. It's such an interesting one. So if you click on that link at the end of the slide, you'd be able to read on it. But yeah, Netflix reported over 1,000 outbound click on this last year. All right, there are so many books that you can read on predictive analysis, a couple of them that I've read. But yeah, Everybody Lies is one of my favorite books around data for SEO. So if you've got the time, look at them. All right, we're coming to the end now. And I said the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. So for us as SEOs, what are we trying to do today that is going to give us a better outcome in the next month, right? How are we preparing for what's going to happen today? By Malcolm X. Yeah. All right, actionable framework. And I want you people to, if there's anything you take away from here, I want it to be that you think about implementing some of these things on some of the topics that you don't think are doing well now, but have that potential to do better within the next month, within the next 12 months, right? Create content around it. You can start with 2 topics. You can start with 3 topics and see how that works out for you, right? So yeah, just remember that we did the data integration. We're trying to identify opportunities, and we're going to use that to plan strategically. All right, my main takeaway, think about how you can move from not just being reactive to a more proactive SEO approach. Think about how you're not just reacting after it has happened, but you're right there thinking about what your customers are going to look for. Leverage your existing data intelligently. Mix your data. Don't only look at your website data, but have a more elaborative way to think about how you can use your data. Mix it with market trends. A lot of these tools already have what can help you, right? Mix it with market trends and see how you can find opportunities to do better. All right, my time is good. Take actions with your strategic resources allocation. There are some of these topics you don't want to spend so much time on because you don't see it doing so well, right? But there are some that are gold mine. They're not doing well now. But if you can plan and do better in your content, you can get more return in investment. All right, finally, I love this one. The quote, this one says, "The future of search is shaped by those who anticipate and address needs before they emerge as queries." Which means before I put it on TikTok search, which means before I put it on Google search, you're already thinking about what I am not even thinking about. And that's what I want us to take away from here. Think about what your customers might not be thinking about now, but they will think about it in the next month. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can download the slides. You can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. Thank you. Have a good day.